An indescribable feeling. Sometimes I'm left reeling. A learning experience, damn near Shakespearean. The lessons I've learned, worth more to me than gold. My own platform, so no stories untold. If I choose to keep a secret, that's for only me to know. I'm comfortable, get my shit off, never afraid to be bold. Putting in the time, so I take a lot of pride. Never been the type to run, not the type to hide. No rules to follow, not inside me to abide. Respect the game though, never not enjoy the ride. This one goes out to you, shit, it goes out to me too. We set up the camera, the view is meant for you. 52 Tuesdays and we've only just begun. A lot of hard work, but just the same amount of fun. So happy 1 year, Kiona and Kasson.
When you're using a public restroom, say you have to take a shit,
Right.
because a public restroom, I mean, you can take a shit and a piss, you know?
Well, yeah, because it's set up like that. I mean,
Right.
that's how most bathrooms are.
have-
You don't have to just choose one.
I mean, even if you
There's not like a shit bathroom and
even
a
if you
piss
only had
bathroom.
like a stall in there, you can pretty much still do it every way you want it to do it, you know? But when you're taking a dump in a public restroom, do you put toilet paper over the seat?
Yeah.
I never understood
But
people-
my favorite thing is when they actually have the little.
No, the covers.
Paper.
Fuck that. That shit's because it's like that has a little insert in the middle, and then once you rip that out, that shit is in the toilet. You know, I don't like it.
I ripped that off.
I don't know. All I know is
Completely.
when I'm taking a dump, I layer it up. There's like 4 layers of toilet paper all over it.
Oh, so you
I'm like,
just
this can't
so
be
you'll
good.
clog the toilet up at the expense of.
I'm like, this can't be good for the environment. But fuck the environment. I'm not sitting on somebody else's nasty ass shit. The best thing is when I get to work and
Oh, they just cleaned it.
yeah.
How did I know?
Those motherfuckers that just got in there. You could smell
Yeah.
it. The lights are off still.
Still
like,
got the blue in the toilet and shit.
like I know I'm the first one in this bathroom right now, but I still cover that shit.
Oh, word.
I ain't fucking with that nastiness. You know, if it's one thing that I know, and I don't know if this is like been debunked, but supposedly you can catch crabs from a toilet seat.
I think you. I mean, there's
having
probably
a-
something to that.
Fuck having an itchy nutsack to take a dump. You know, I'd rather hold
Oh
it.
yeah, I'd rather hold my shit if I had to. Like, I'll just go home. I used to have a thing where I used to like leave. Excuse me. I used to leave school, just so I was like, yo, I gotta go, and I ain't going here. Like, cause I don't remember like, if I remember correctly, there weren't like doors on the stalls in high school.
There has to be doors on stalls. What the fuck kind of bougie? Like, listen, how do you not have stall doors? You have to take.
I don't know. I don't remember there being stall
If I walked
doors.
into a bathroom and there was no door on the stall where I was about to drop a deuce, I'm bouncing. I'm not going. You know what I used to
Well,
do
I
in high
never took a
school?
deuce there. I just pissed. I mean, like, you know, like, cause like we talked about, bathrooms you can do both.
I'm pretty
So
sure
when I
it's
go,
like-
I wouldn't be like, oh, I gotta go take a shit. And be like, oh, you gotta go to the shit bathroom.
I'm pretty sure it's mandated that there has to be doors. You know,
Yeah. See, I don't know. I don't remember. It was a long time ago.
if you
And
were
I
ever,
never did
if
it
you were
there.
ever in a situation where you had to take a dump
Before
and
I
there was
looked
no
to see if there were
stall door.
doors, I would go like literally get like they give you like early dismissals, and I'd be like, yo, I'm out, take a shit at the
This
crib.
was my go-to move, right? I'd be like, oh man, my stomach hurts. I go to the nurse's office. The nurse had a private bathroom in there.
Oh, word! This is what you would do in high school?
It's rare. I never wanted to take a dump in high school. The last thing I'm trying to do is like ever have to take.
Now
a
you're
dump
the
in
guy
high
that took
school.
a shit at high school and they stunk it up.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and
that'd
then
be
like
fucked
word gets
up.
around because people are stupid in school. So like, no, fuck that.
That'd be funny.
I'm like, listen, I'm going to the nurse's office. I'm like, excuse me, nurse.
You got to get in good with the nurse and just let her be like, yo, I got to take a shit. Can I
gotta-
come to your
gotta
office
take
real
a
quick?
shit.
Like, you're texting her in school, like, yo, is it
Like,
clear?
She's like, here, take my card. If you ever this ever comes up again,
Just go there.
just come on in. Don't even bother knocking.
Nice introductory topic for episode 52.
Hey, episode 52. Look, yo, this is. It was one thing that sucks not having a soundboard because if this was.
Oh,
this
but we got,
moment-
I can make air horns. 52. No,
It's not a good air horn.
I'm
Like,
not
doosh, 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 doosh.
like gunshots or air horn would be nice right now to introduce
It
this.
would be. But hey, you are with the Kiona and Kasson podcast right now. This is episode 52. We thank you all for joining us.
Yes, we do.
We're fucking a year in.
1 year of podcasting.
Like we're more than a year
yeah,
in, right?
52 podcasts equal like 52 weeks. But
Well,
we
so you gotta factor in the Phantom episode, right?
right.
So that's number one.
I think there was a week between that and the next one. Right.
Yeah, I think that sounds about
we've
right.
missed 1 or 2 weeks.
2 weeks because of the weather issues.
Right.
So technically we
We're
would
about, like,
we would have hit
56
it
weeks?
about we hit it about a month ago if we were on track the way we could have been. But I don't give a fuck. Not taking anything away from episode number 52.
Hell
the
no.
1 year mark.
52,
you know,
baby.
And fuck those other podcasts that get on because their boys are already on and then they start. Yeah, I'm talking to you, low priority.
No.
Or whatever.
No. Listen.
I don't care.
Just like because I gotta say, as much as I don't like it just sucks. Like you're like fuck.
Listen,
your platform is this.
He been texting me all week how this is some bullshit.
but I will say I do get the idea of using your platform. Like Button's been talking about on his podcast with Rory. Rory's using the shit out of his platform, and honestly, I don't blame him. If I had those type of sources or resources available to me, and my audience was large enough at this point, I'd use it. That being said, as a podcast that's been trying to put that work in for like a year, and it seems like traction hasn't gained yet, it does get frustrating. But I can't be a hater. I can't be a hater.
Listen, I am a hater.
I know, but this is on record.
But this is why.
52 weeks of Adam being a hater.
But I break it down like this, okay?
But let's put a disclaimer. Can we just put a disclaimer?
No.
We have to put a disclaimer. It's not that I think Danny Low Priori is pretty funny. Like that, the Stank is going to be a pretty funny podcast.
Yeah, but I don't like his co-host. His co-host isn't as funny.
Well, I think
Joe is hilarious.
Yeah,
Danny's funny, but I don't even know who the fuck is
that's
that guy?
That's their like.
That's like their alternate.
No, that's like his Joe's best friend. Like, and he's pretty funny in other podcasts. I will say he used to do.
I thought Danny was his best friend.
Danny's pretty new to that, like to his life. And I hate that we're talking about their fucking podcast, and I almost don't want to have this on ours.
Listen,
but either way, no.
This is what I'm trying to get to. Okay, you look at those people who are established.
God, I hate
YouTubers.
talking about other people like that.
I'm not talking about them specifically right now in what I'm trying to get to. Yeah. So just shut up for a second. Basically, when I look at these people
saying names and shit, like
like they're gonna fucking watch.
Nobody watches.
We have 63 viewers. We don't even not even all of our subscribers watch.
Yeah.
But anyway, so listen. When I look at those people who are established and like they're already people who've been making money off YouTube and whatever. They have more of a production team, right?
Yeah.
They got people who are helping them with the audio shit.
Comes with the recognition. Though.
So my problem with that is we're 52 weeks in now, right? We do all the editing, all the audio, all the engineer type shit on our own. And like the small people, the people who are trying to build up their brand,
it's difficult.
Those are the people who put the most work in.
Barack Obama got a podcast now, and man. So like, all I can say is like, listen, honestly, I get it. I mean, it's like the new talk radio, in a sense.
Yeah,
you know, but it's like you can really just search a specific topic and listen to those specific things. Like my favorite podcasts, like I don't know if you listen. I've been telling you, Ear Hustle. Right, a lot of people probably know about Ear Hustle, but it's about San Quentin Prison.
Yes, and that's a guy who his story and his content made him successful, not the cosigns that he had from other places.
Agreed. But he did have, but the production company behind that, Radiotopia, is who is behind him.
But he got it started in prison. I mean,
no, he didn't. No, it was brought together by those two. But they
started doing it while he was still in jail.
Agreed. But all of the production was done outside by a company that the parent company, which is Radiotopia. So like the problem is, yeah, there are smaller podcasts like our own, but there are ones that aren't as small, or maybe as small but have production. It's just a luck of the draw.
All the people who are like us, who are sitting here trying to make a little brand and make everybody
most definitely. Shout out to the creators as always. Like honestly, like it's not easy, but I never want to come across as somebody that hates, and I definitely can appreciate the like. Because when we get hopefully if we ever gain some sort of larger platform, I know for a fact based on what conversations we had that the creative aspect of this doesn't stop in the podcast. So if we get that platform, we'd use it for more. Yep. So we can't say that they're not wrong in what they're doing.
Listen, all I know is the reason for some of these people,
and it's not only specific to like we're speaking in a terms. We're only talking about this because the Stank is something we've been paying attention to in a little last few days, and like it's a good example of like that type of conversation what we're having. Those who have a little bit of a platform and then springboard off of that, which is just fine. It just is, you know, when you're looking at it as the small guys, like you're saying, it's difficult because you can't find that springboard as easily.
Well, you know what? It's like it goes back to the whole fans are fickle type of thing, right?
Yeah.
So if you have like an established show, I don't have anything against with like Joe Santagato, for instance. Like he put his work in.
It's pretty dope. He's actually
started
starting
off
his
before-
Santagato Studios, and like
He started off before like the podcast and shit like that.
I see what you're doing, bro. I see it. Like it makes sense, and it's honestly really dope because if you think about like having your own podcast production company, there's something to that shit.
It's the viewership that like, okay, he has however many subscribers he has, and they're watching all his shows. So now one of his boys made a spin-off of that. So naturally, those fans are gonna also kind of switch over and support both.
Okay, well, would you be mad at Glenn if he started a spinoff called like the Opposite Shout Out Show, and it was a spinoff of ours, and he gained some traction?
If he was more successful than us, yeah, I'm gonna go shut that shit down.
You under us, motherfucker. No. It's like a pyramid scheme. You get money, but we get more, bitch. No,
Like,
but
I'm up the top, and then people underneath me can make a little bit money, but not as much as me. And then those people, and they're just kind of
yeah, it's super pyramid scheme. But I hate those. But no, like, listen. Is it frustrating because you think about it like it'd be nice to like find that springboard ourselves based on all the work we've been putting in? Because we know, but that comes in time, and like if you're doing it for that recognition, which we aren't, right? Then it doesn't become as successful, I believe, like as well as it could have.
yeah.
You know, so for us, we're just continuing to make the content the best we know how, and we're always trying to improve. And from there, hopefully, something takes place
See,
where
this
we
is-
have a platform that is larger.
This is one of those moments where I feel like Joe Budden, where I'm like, I'm going out on the ledge, and then you're sitting here giving me a different story. Than what you
No,
gave
no,
me
no.
all week long.
I
Take
told
this
you.
content
I read.
to the next
We could read the text. I said I'm no hater, but it does get annoying. Like when you see that, because it's just like Joe even said, he's like, Obama's got a podcast. What the fuck? Like now everybody's gonna. But like it is what it is, right? Like
Yeah.
that makes our story that much better if things were to progress beyond
Plus,
this.
don't nobody got lyrics like I got. Fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Acapella.
Acapella too. Doing that shit without a
You
beat.
remember when they used to release singles back in the day, and they'd have like the singing, like the
they had just
real version, the radio edit, and then acapella. Like
Well,
why would
they
they?
had acapella, they had just
I had a lot of acapella joints. It depended on the artist, though. If they were
You know,
R&B and they wanted to give that to
on
you,
that same fucking note, I go to iTunes and I'll start downloading new music and shit, right? And I'm thinking, hey, you know, I got the full length version, like it's the actual song, and it'll come up on shuffle, like for instance, like some J shit on Encore, right? All of a sudden, or not Encore, on the Black album.
Okay.
And then, like,
yeah, those aren't the
all of a
same type of
sudden,
albums.
Like I hear the beginning, you know, with his like type of shit, and then all of a sudden, it's just that. There's no fucking instrumentals. It's him just rapping, and I'm like, what the fuck, iTunes? Why is this a thing?
Did you have to buy that?
Who? No.
Oh, I was gonna say.
But who like wants to go and download the acapella version from iTunes? Nobody wants that.
No. Okay, before we progress upon this, I don't have iTunes anymore. The only thing I do with iTunes is when I transport music for my YouTube channel that is not this, but a different one.
Right.
However, I do want to stay, but I don't want to get off top. I don't want to jump off that topic before we complete it. Right. I'm not backing down on what I said during the week. Don't say that. But I mean, I do like to have. I mean, objectively, I could speak about like the idea that we would use our platform larger if we could as ourselves. So I can't hate on that. It's just like fuck. More of a like, but it doesn't cost nothing to subscribe. So like, all right, why don't you just press that button if you've watched? But the problem is we don't have.
You know who?
This is probably a conversation not to be had.
you know who I'm really mad at? It's the people who I know personally who won't get their lazy fucking bitch asses to YouTube and hit subscribe. That's what really.
No, and honestly, I don't. But we've gone through this. Most of the time, people won't support. It is what it is.
Until you blow up. Then
Until
like,
you blow up,
we get $1.
you know.
No,
But
got it.
right, I got $1. But no, that's all I really wanted to say. You know, it is what it is. That podcast, honestly, objectively, it's pretty funny. I don't think it's anything different than what we create. But
You remember dude from Everybody Hates Chris? Like, let me hold $1.
he held so many dollars from Chris.
That motherfucker got all of Chris's dollars.
All of his dollars at the end of that show. All of them.
But anyways,
Yeah.
thank you for sticking around with us now. A year in.
Yeah. 25 minutes
I like
after
to
we.
think. I like to think we've gotten better.
I think so.
I know we have upgraded some things. So, mics for you.
Microphones for you guys.
You know
Yep.
what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
I know we've kind of you know, we're in limbo right now as we don't have you know,
Third piece.
the third piece to our. Did you have to restart the
Why
clock?
did we start the clock? I don't know what the. You know what, man? I think like
That's stupid.
it's stupid.
No, but as you can see, we're we're down a man, and it's all yet to be determined on how things are going to progress from here. We'll try to keep you updated as best as we know how.
Yep.
But again, this is about us celebrating. We did celebrate 50 last 2 weeks ago, but
We did.
52 I think is equally as important.
It's tough because 50 is like a big mark, right? But
Yeah.
then like 52 is the year mark.
Is the
so it's
year.
like,
So like, what did we
celebrate?
Should we have just celebrated at like 51?
should have fucking popped some champagne, like with Thursday. When with
I don't even drink champagne.
me neither.
I'm a beer drinker, man.
I don't really care.
You don't really
drink
care?
whatever. I'll drink whatever.
Oh, you're one of
not like-
those.
Not like some. No. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have my preferences. Okay, but
Whatever, dude.
Jay, send us a case of Ace of Spades.
Yeah, a case. It's like $7,000.
He's a billionaire. Like,
But you
what the
don't become a
7,000
billionaire by giving people free shit. That's why
How do you know?
huh?
How do you know? As we talked about, once you have money, everything is free. I doubt he pays for Ace of Spades most of the time.
I don't know about that.
Once-
I don't know what that. I don't know.
It's one thing that's ass backwards about life. So when you're broke, you have to pay for everything. Once you have money, people just send you shit.
It is crazy how that is a thing. Like I've been trying to get those shoes and I can't. But like once I got all the money in the world to afford as many pairs as I'd like, they just keep sending them to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't even need them anymore.
Yeah, what's that Fab line where he's talking about he gets Nikes before they even get released sometimes? Like, man,
Like, that's
I want some
bullshit.
Nikes before they get released. And that was his first album. Like, why the fuck you sending him free Nikes?
Free Nikes.
Shout out Fab though, I like that.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, so what has happened this week?
I don't know what's in the news at all, dude.
There's a
I haven't
couple
been
things
paying
that I was
attention to
looking at.
shit.
I wrote it down because I have a bad memory. So let's see what we got here. Oh, Meek Mill. He got his
Oh, shout out to Meek. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
he got his new judge.
Yes,
And,
if this is where we'd implement also air horns and gunshots as well,
like,
or applause. Here, just insert applause here.
We gotta get a sound.
There we
board,
go.
man.
There we go. Right in that little space. If one of us if we had an editor, they'd put that there.
Damn, I'm the editor.
Damn, that mean Adam got to figure that shit out.
But yeah, shout out to Meek, man.
Hell yeah.
He's off probation now.
Good shit. I think because they given him a new trial.
They
So
say he is no longer a felon. I don't know how that whole thing worked out.
because I think in the trial they were, is that how they did it? Like they ruled him to have for a felony, or they ruled in terms of a felony, and now that it's a new trial being given, I think that one is that one out the. Do they throw that out?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, stupid for what he got charged on his probation thing with.
Yeah.
But it was kind of his fault on a few levels because he was warned a few times before.
Yeah,
the whole
but
thing
that,
happened.
but being like, yeah, you doing that, but that doesn't.
I mean,
then-
for wheelies is fucking stupid. Like,
No, there's no reason for him to be like. Yeah, the punishment didn't fit the crime in any way.
no, definitely not.
You know, and that's
But,
really
you know,
what
I
I'm
mean,
trying to say.
again,
But either way,
that's something that happens when you hit a certain level. You know,
they target
They
you.
try to make an example out of you.
They
and,
target you, man.
you could have came up with something better than you were doing wheelies.
Yeah, no,
Fuck outta
that's why it's a bullshit fucking charge and all that. But shout out to Meek. Glad you're glad that's working out for you, man. Your transition this year has been amazing, bro.
For sure. And
You know?
his album with that Championship or whatever it is.
Yeah, Championships was pretty good.
It's good. It was a pretty good album. I wasn't a huge Meek fan musically before that album.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not like a uber Meek fan,
Yeah.
but I do like his albums most of the time, and I do like his music. And just the story and his progression, the maturation of him is crazy.
It's funny. One of the things that I've noticed, like, I'm a huge Jay-Z fan, right? He's the GOAT in my eyes. But a lot of the people who he has co-signed in his career, I haven't really fucked with their music too much. Now that's like outside of Rockefeller, right?
Oh,
'Cause,
okay. Well, like,
Free, Beanie Siegel, like I fuck with them.
Well, then name
but-
people. Well, who is he? Who has he co-signed outside of Rockefeller that you can name that? You know what I mean? Like who?
I mean,
Because they kind of kept it in house. So if they co-signed, they were rock.
yeah, I guess. And then I think when it changed to Rock Nation, things kind of
That changed. Yeah, that explains.
Because Rockefeller was more of a tight knit kind of group of.
That was
you know.
different. It was a different animal for sure. Rock
like-
Nation is like a whole nother ballgame, I think.
Yeah, and I know like Bleak gets a lot of criticism, but I'm kind of on board with that. I'm a huge Bleak fan. There's he got a few joints or whatever, but like,
Yeah, I mean, I Meek was just a rapper. That was it. Like, I mean, and Jay's boy, and he wasn't terrible, so it is what it is.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know.
You know, but like we've talked about this conversation. We don't have to get into it, but just based on like the idea of like, you know, we've gotten to that Eminem conversation where it's like how much or how often or you know how efficient or effective is Eminem at cultivating talent? And we've talked about how others have. Jay has. I mean, many artists have, but we were talking. This is that conversation of, you know, bigger artists or the legendary artists or what do they call them? What kind of act is it? A legacy act. Those kind of people. Like when they start being, you know, because he can perform without anything anymore. But I'm just saying, like Jay's so big as an artist, and he has been for so long. How do you use that as a way to springboard other artists? You know, a la Joe Santagato, Danny Lopriori, his boy. You know,
And this is
which is fine. I can appreciate that because maybe that gives Joe the ability to stop doing certain things and allowing his boys to go, and now he gets residuals and he's able to sit back a bit. It's all fine. It all makes sense to me, and I would like to be in that position eventually as well.
Yeah,
you know?
and this is where I go back to like the right cosign means everything for you, right? So there's a lot of trash artists in the game right now. Let's not ever skip on that because there's way too much just bullshit.
Yeah.
But the right person telling everybody like, yo, check him out, you know, whatever.
Oh, most
that
definitely.
has done wonders for people's careers. Like
It has, and all it takes is the right one. You never know who's listening, man, and that's why I was saying, you know, if you're doing it for the numbers and you're doing it for the subscribers, then I don't believe it comes the correct way. I don't think it's sustainable. I don't think there's longevity in that as well, as much as if you are doing it purely for the content and those who are listening to you, you know, those who do rock with you. So like, if that makes you restart it again, that's gonna be hilarious.
nope.
Oh,
still
look at
going
that.
right now. Fucking iPhone. God
But
damn it.
I think that's why, like, you know, our thing has always been the consistency and always trying to get better at what we're doing.
Yeah.
Right. And the numbers, they shall follow eventually. Maybe, I don't know, but at least if we, you know, because I'd hate to say that this is our 52nd episode and we've half-assed all of them.
No,
You know?
and I definitely don't think.
No, I don't
we
think
have.
so either. Because if we did, then that's 52. That's 52 episodes of evidence of us not really giving a fuck about what we're putting out there.
The reason I look at it at a hater kind of level, if I may, you know, is that
You will.
the problem is, so yeah, you know, podcasts that have segued off of other podcasts and have become successful just off, you know, the fact that they have their connections. I feel like our podcast would be a lot more successful. The problem is getting people to go and dedicate an hour of their time to come and watch us, you know?
That's the thing. It's
that's
a
why-
lot of content.
That's why cosigns are everything, because if you have the right person saying, hey, this show is pretty funny, like, go check it out, like, it's a good show, good content, la da da da,
Important.
then people are going to go and check it out, right? So if you don't have anybody saying that, and obviously, you know, exposure is the main thing here, and when your advertisement is about YouTube and you posting it on your personal Instagram page or some shit like that, your audience only goes so far.
You know, if you've been, that's why like a lot of these larger artists and creators, entertainers, whoever it is, I mean, it's such a huge ball game nowadays, right? Like the doors were, you know, the doors flew wide open. And everybody's got a podcast now, and you know, like it's just, you know, based on the amount of audience that you were able to come in here with, right? Like, because now everybody, the more people that know, the more people that tell people, right? Like if you got 10 people and one person tells people, that's cool. But if you got 100,000 people and 1,000 people tell people, that's a whole nother ball game, you know?
For sure.
And you know, the point is eventually you get to that point, and hopefully, you know, if anybody that's listening right now is, you know, in the same boat, you know, 50 episodes in, 20 episodes in. I mean, I don't know when you could become. When can you say you're a professional podcaster? Is it when you get paid to do so? When you get paid, is that it, or can you say that at 50 episodes in? Are we what are we then? Just hobbyists?
I mean, let's be real. Podcasting is as simple as having an entertaining conversation with whoever you're hosting with, right?
Right.
So once you're at the point where your main source of income is from this show, and I don't think like most of the people who are successful, I don't think most of their main income is from podcasting.
Probably
Maybe like
not.
Joe and the boys right now, right? But like they got the Spotify deal.
Yeah, that's a whole nother animal.
But until you're actually like your main income, especially as a small startup like we are, right? Even though we've been going for a year now, we're still small.
Yeah.
Once we're getting our main source of income from the show, I think that's when you are pretty much considered a
Consider
professional. You know.
Well, that's all I was gonna get at is just keep going, man. I mean, eventually, hopefully, if you put your heart into it, man, somebody will notice eventually, and from that point, you never know what happens. You know, you just got to stay consistent. You know,
And these conversations are important to have. I mean, even on the podcast, because like, you know, there are people who are watching who maybe they thought about starting podcasts and they see that there's a lot of work that goes into it. It's not an easy thing to kind of just, you know, become successful at overnight.
yeah, man. I mean, honestly, I would say at certain points, there's been a certain level, after a certain increment of episodes, there's been times where I felt like we were a little bit more fluid than we were the day before, and it got better and better after that.
Yeah.
The mics helped. I think that helped us in our just our perception. You know, not even just you guys when you hear us, but the perception we feel of ourselves. It gives us just a little bit more of a. It helps to understand that we progressed a little bit, and knowing so when we're speaking through mics and
look, it could be just me, but I thought the show was mad entertaining last week. I was laughing.
Last week was really funny, man. This week, I mean, we've gotten to the topic of kind of seriousness kind of early on, and you know, it's fine though because I think at 52 weeks, it's a good way to. You know, it's nice to sit back, evaluate, and kind of discuss
it. Reflection episode. You're talking about you're a year in now, so over the last year, like what have we learned? What have we picked up? What have we struggled with? And those are the kind of things that you know you have to think about in order to take it to the next step and all that stuff. So, I mean, obviously, our funding is different than these bigger shows. Or whatever,
right.
So
we have to put away to get the things we need to get, and that's
why,
fine.
You know, it took so long to get mics. I think probably took longer than it should have, but.
It did, but
better late than never.
Right,
so,
right, and that helps them to understand. Even like we could have at 40 some episodes in, we could have said "fuck mics," whatever. Where we're at, but no, we want to keep progressing. We want to make this podcast better.
Yeah.
We want it to the sound to be acceptable on all those platforms and clear, so that those who are listening and not watching and vice versa enjoy it just the same.
And you see, like you never stop hitting roadblocks, like. You see, we're a year in now. We have, you know, Dave is having whatever problems he's having right now.
Right,
kinda,
you know.
So we're trying to figure that out, and like, there's just always something to kind of think about, something to kind of, some solution to kind of maze through. You know,
it is. So, you know, and the more I think, the more people involved, that rings true even further.
And that's another reason why I appreciate Joe Budden's podcast because he laid that known too. You know, like before we got too deep into it, he's like, you're gonna fight. You're gonna end up with like decisions to make and Like there's always some kind of roadblock trying to stop you from success. So the idea here is to persevere and keep going and push through it. And you know, eventually you'll get to where you're supposed to be. But so I don't know. I mean, it's been a good learning experience over the last year. And,
Most
and like
definitely.
I said from the beginning, I don't really necessarily care if this turns successful. It'd be great.
No, it's honestly that is another statement, right? Because if you care if it becomes successful, you're not caring about the product.
Right.
And I don't know, man. I'm more at this stage in my life. I've learned that like it's all about, and not even at this stage. I've always been quality over quantity my whole life.
Yeah.
No matter what you're speaking about, you know. But for especially in this, I feel like the episodes had to get better. We've fine tuned, and you can see our initially they were 2-hour episodes, which is dope. And I think you'll still get some of those eventually. That will be nice. You know, we're in transition right now. Even though we just made the year point, we're kind of in transition, right? We're trying to figure out, you know, Dave has got his personal issues going on, and you know, like we said last week, we just really are more concerned about him taking care of what he's got to take care of. You know, but it is also still about consistency, and that's probably been the most
it's the biggest hurdle.
Spoken about topic when it comes to us is we are very big about this consistency thing.
Yeah.
Every week we record the same day, we've switched that up, and like you'll find if you're doing this that sometimes you find a day that you were doing it worked but doesn't work anymore. Now you got to find schedules that match, and you got to find.
And that's the biggest problem with not being like a monetized podcast is that, you know, we don't have all the time available. We have to still work our 9 to 5s
we
and
all
go
work,
do our thing, and like
know?
we all have shit to do. But I mean, if you care about it enough and you work hard enough and you're dedicated, you're gonna find a way to work around it, you know.
Exactly.
And I think that's the main point. But
right.
I don't know. Let's go off that because
most definitely. Just again, thanks for rocking with us for 52 weeks, 52
absolutely.
Episodes.
Shout out to all the viewers out there, regardless what it is that you do, what demographic you fit. We appreciate you.
Right, and I think we should end it with a shout out. I will say shout out to like Danny Loprier and all them, because honestly, they do. Because regardless of that, he's
shout out Joe Santagato.
I'll say because
Danny.
even he's put in 100 episodes of content, like so like he's put a lot of work in, so he deserves it. There are other boys. It's like as if Dave ended up not being able to do the show anymore, and we found a boy that we liked, one of our guys that we thought would be a good addition to the show to create the trio again.
Yeah.
Right. The tripod. And we did that. And let's say a few weeks in, some start popping. We're gonna tell them, no, you don't deserve this.
Right.
You know,
I agree.
It is what it is. But so I'll say shout out to you guys, man. Keep doing your thing. Hopefully, we just aspire to get to that point, of recognition at some point. That's all we're saying.
Right. Like that.
But until then, enjoy all the content because we're gonna enjoy making this shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Enough of that shit. Fuck y'all, motherfuckers.
And before we go too far, we have to do the ceremonial
opposite shout out to Glenn.
Shout out to Glenn.
Yep.
It is week 52. It's a solid year of
that's 52
shouting
opposites of shout. But no, we've done maybe a couple of episodes sometimes.
There's been multiple in episodes, but there's also been early episodes. Where
you know what we need to do is we'll speak about that off camera.
Yeah, we should probably do that.
You already know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so also be on the lookout. We're trying to constantly keep things moving and bring new exciting features outside of the show.
Right. We're talking about some stuff outside that kind of give you some more content to really get an idea of who we are. I think after 52 fucking episodes, you should. And if that's not enough for you, what kind of fucking person are you?
You fucking greedy bastards.
I'm serious.
God damn. All right. Anyway, so
if I was doing that, this is where you get the sad violin music. Maybe I'll drop a tear from Adam's eye.
I ain't crying for nothing. Fuck that. All right. Well, kind of all over the board here. I don't want to get into new music stuff just yet because
what came out?
I said I don't want to get into it yet. God, what? Impossible listening.
Where's my phone at?
So we talked about this a little bit between us.
We've gone too far.
Tim Duncan, right? He got a new role with the Spurs now.
That's what's up. I think that happened a couple weeks ago, but we're a little late.
Well, it has. We haven't talked about anything in fucking 2 weeks.
Anyway, that's true.
But
no, Tim Duncan. Listen. I was under the impression he was done with basketball for a while. He was doing his little kickboxing thing, Muay Thai,
trying to get
7 foot tall with 14 feet legs, and he's just kicking everything. What's that dude from Street Fighter? Zangief? Is it Zangief?
I don't know, but you can't be 7 foot tall with 14 foot legs. It just doesn't happen.
Well, if
you're 14 foot tall.
No, then you're like no, because if your legs are. Are we gonna do math?
It doesn't matter. There's nobody who has 14 foot legs in life. It doesn't happen.
The aliens and shit.
If you have 14 foot legs, well, fuck you. Like taller than a basketball.
That's weird. You're not a human. You're a fucking alien or a
can't even
monster.
Kick you in the nuts like I would like to. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's cool for Timmy to be part of the Spurs still. Like that's home for him. Pop is home. So.
Do you think that eventually he becomes the head coach?
No, I don't think so.
Ever?
I think he has more of a front office future ahead of him.
Yeah, I can't say that for certain because I would have never pegged him to be somebody to come be an assistant coach. But I'm assuming that this is a situation where Pop is like, come spend some time. Give these players some of your expertise.
That's not to say he won't take on a mentor role. You have future power forwards and centers who are coming in that he's one of the best in the league history probably in that.
Oh, he's arguably there's argument for Tim Duncan to be in the argument of one of the greatest of all time. Period, based on his resume.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's a whole nother topic for another day that I believe we've already spoken about on a prior day.
I think he brings a lot of priceless knowledge at the position, and there's a reason he's the big fundamental. And
I think this is like you said, mentorship position, right? I believe that this is what that is. Like I believe Pop was like, come be an assistant. You'll get paid a little bit. I know you don't need it, but you'll also be able to come and mentor people, be around the game. As I was saying, I didn't peg him to be somebody that would come and be that position, right?
Not necessarily.
So not outside
but
of
when
being
you've
a
been-
player in the league.
When you've been in the league for 20 years, it's hard to walk completely away from the league. You know what I mean?
I mean, he did it pretty easily.
He did.
He was like, "I'm out."
He did.
What
but
I'm saying is,
retirement
he did it
different.
as a player. He was
Right.
a mentor as a player, I believe.
So he's like the team vet. Like that's his role, even as not a player. You know.
I guess. But I don't know. I don't know. Does he go home to the Virgin Islands at the end of the when he's done? Because if that's the case, that's not worth it. I'm not coming back to Texas for that.
No, I mean I hear you, but I also him and Pop have like a good relationship that they love
Pop, come
working
down to the
together.
Virgin Islands. What the fuck? Retire. It's done. Fuck this shit.
Nah, I mean you know how it is. Like even though we haven't been active hoopers in a while, the love for the game is still like we're in the back trying to shoot and learning that we suck.
Oh, now that you mention it, I think I had a dream last night of me playing basketball.
And did you suck?
I don't remember actually playing ball. I was just on the court. It was at the court that I played at last. Yeah, no,
See-
I don't know.
See, the problem is I put the basketball away, and I've been consistent with the cigarettes, and now it's hard. You've
You've been mad consistent with the cigs.
But whatever. Work on it.
But I mean, I can't blame you. You guys get like mad cigarette breaks a day at work. You'd be like, I'm gonna take a cigarette. They'd be like, all right. I'll be like, yo, I'm gonna take a break. You took one already. Like, dude, just because he's putting cancer in his fucking body, I can't do this too.
Well, you just don't tell them. That's my thing. I just get up and go when I'm ready.
Oh, that's a different story.
I mean,
But anyway, back to fucking Tim Duncan.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't really see him as a head coach. I don't see him being a head coach on the sidelines. But stranger things have happened, including him becoming an assistant coach, which I wouldn't have said was going to happen anyway.
and I don't know what his personality was like in the locker room, obviously, but to me, he just seems like more of like a quiet leader. He doesn't really have like the
Yeah, to be a coach, you
don't
got to
see
be
him running up and
outspoken.
down
A
like
sense.
Tom Thibodeau with the red face, fucking screaming at his players, like "What the fuck?"
Tom Thibodeau is the Penguin from
He's more
Batman
of a-
Returns.
He's more of a docile.
I picture him with the
dude,
three fingers. The Batman. Hold on. He had the little tuxedo on and shit, like
if
pale
you-
white
if you are
skin and crazy
listening-
ass teeth.
If you're listening some other way outside of YouTube, Sam basically just turned his hands into bird feet, and
No, this is the three. This is penguin fingers.
Well, penguins are birds.
Are they? Are they?
I mean, I suppose so.
I don't think penguins fly.
I mean, chickens don't.
They
fly.
slide on their bellies.
Chickens don't fly, but they're still birds, aren't they? What the fuck defines a bird? I don't know.
Maybe my phone's
Wing?
all the way over there.
You have fucking wings? I don't know either, but
I think the wings are a
Wing.
thing.
I don't know if I can go to something outside of the stopwatch to see where we're at. So I'm not.
Yeah,
gonna
I'm not going to ask you to do
cut it
such a
off.
thing.
But I don't know. I mean, I thought it was really cool that he took another role with the organization, and
It's always nice when that happens, right? When
yeah.
the
especially when it's a player that like you, it's easy to respect. You know.
Oh, Tim Duncan is one of the easiest players to respect. I mean, just think about as a basketball player
There's
as
too much
in
niche.
general, right? Like, I mean, he played for one team his whole career,
Yeah.
won them 5 championships,
Yeah.
was a consummate professional, fucking, and was loved by retired and was loved by them till the day he left, and always is accepted back into the stadium to do whatever the fuck he ends up doing, right? Even when they paid tribute to Ginobili.
If you look at the length of his, that was funny too.
That was
if you-
pretty funny.
If you look at the length of Tim Duncan's career, like you have not seen one negative story about him in media. You know, there's never been like he's never been caught up in some scandal.
All they talk about is his lack of ability to dress. Tim Duncan still dresses like he was in the grunge era in the 90s and
try to
never
imagine,
bought
like,
new clothes
if
afterwards.
I'm 7
Been the
foot
same
tall-
height.
If you're 7 foot tall, you don't look the same way in clothing that most people under that height
Dude,
look.
even at our height, which isn't very tall, 6'1", both respectively, bang bang. And like when I look at shoes on smaller people, I'm like, yo, that's such a nicer shoe when you got half the foot.
Yeah, and not only that, it's like half the cost when you have half the foot.
Word.
It's one thing I've always wished for. Is I could fit into a child-sized shoe.
What sucks if you're if
been a
you
long
ended up
time.
being short, right, but not short enough where you're in child shoes, right? So you just over that 6.5. So now you got to start wearing men's shoes, but you're still short. So you're short with
I'm about
men's
to
shoes,
ball
but
up
you
my toes like this, fit the motherfuckers in the size 6.
like, dude, you made me short, but you couldn't make me short enough to wear short shoes.
As a man, I take pride in not giving a flying fuck what size of clothing I fit into. But when it comes to shoes, I just wish that I can get, so I can, how
A
expensive-
little. It would take so much for you to be able to
you know
wear
how
one of those.
expensive fucking brand new Jordans are when you have a full adult size foot.
I'm assuming the 60 people that watch once in a while or know that too.
You never know. Maybe they don't wear shoes.
Maybe they're not watching.
Maybe they just have it playing in the background.
I'm just hoping maybe is that last one.
Well, I hope you're watching. I mean,
Do something, damn it.
Yeah.
Let us know you're here.
Get the
Are you
stream.
there? Are you there?
What's a stream worth?
What?
Really nothing.
What is data?
Oh, yeah, I was looking at something, right? Some weird article like 24 life hacks that you wish you knew earlier. And one of them was like, oh, when a company's asking you for your address and like all your personal information, put the name of the company down with your address so you could see who's sharing your data. And I was like, Datagate!
Like, that's a hack right there. Yo, it's all too much for me, man. All this shit is connected. I be trying to fucking upload videos to YouTube, but it tells me that my computer's too packed. Like, YouTube is different from my computer.
Listen.
Why is all this happening?
It was one thing I know. The government issued my birth certificate / social security number. With that being said, everybody has all the information that they want.
Right, they know what my fucking personal information is. They can just get it whenever they like.
Like it doesn't.
I gotta ask them, actually.
I've given up on reading user agreements.
Like
You
all
give
these-
me 24 pages about arbitration and shit. Like what the fuck?
Do you know how often I used to be so against pressing the allow? I'll allow it. I used to be like deny, and I wouldn't be able to get an app, and I'd be okay with it.
I
And then it
wanna
just
play
started
Candy
being a
Crush,
point.
and you want me to read a user agreement that's 38 pages long? I don't have time.
What is it? But like every candy you crush is an actual child crushed in another land. Yeah.
That'd be fucked up. You want to play games? Children must die.
Like damn, like that's fucked up,
Those
man.
poor children.
Like dude,
Anyway.
all because you wanted to play Candy Crush.
I made a sprinkle candy. That's what the fuck I'm talking about.
I still miss
5
Angry
kids right
Birds. Angry Birds was my shit. Is that still around?
Pretty sure.
Angry Birds was fun. I used to play it on
They
the
made
way to
an
work
Angry
all the
Birds
time.
Movie. That alone tells me it's going nowhere.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it went. I don't know where it's at now.
Did you check your app store?
I've never looked.
Well, then that's why you haven't.
It's
seen
been
it.
like 4 phones. There's no way that shit is still out there.
That's what you would think about Candy Crush, but instead, there's 15 new games about Candy Crush.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I've been pretty fucking shocked that people are still playing Candy Crush.
It's a good
You know
time
how many
passer.
little
You know?
children have been squashed because you've crushed candy?
There's no more kids in the world.
Yo, that would be crazy.
I'm
Every
on-
time you press a candy, it's just a fucking finger coming down from the sky.
I'm on level like 1400 or something like that. Candy Crush.
Dude.
Mind you, that's over a couple of year period. I don't sit there and play all day sometimes.
That's sad, yo.
But if that was the case, but think about how many times I've failed levels. There's no children in the world.
All the fail,
We have no more
they don't give
future.
them back. They don't give them back after you restart the mission
You
and
can't
shit.
kill somebody and bring them back to life. Like it's just not how it works. You know,
This is a whole hypothetical. There's no real thing about this,
you're 100% correct. Unless you're not correct. Dun dun dun.
which means I'm correct actually because I've. Buck. Man, I wish we had a soundboard, but probably not. If we had a soundboard, we'd have to take it from each other. Like, stop doing that! I would just be pressing the gunshots.
No. We gotta get some drops and shit.
We've got to get something.
So before we started this recording
I
thing,
thought you were going to say before we started. Like, wait,
No,
what have we been doing?
like this is actually about a half an hour of pre-production now.
I think we're actually like 40 minutes in
Well,
because you think about the first 10 minutes of
probably
this.
about, yeah, roughly. Something like
Roughly.
that. Before we started recording, I was looking on
As
Twitter.
opposed to smoothly.
Looking on Twitter as I do, and I wanted to see like what NBA news was happening. I know we're in off season, so you know most of the free agency shit has died down. Free agency. So most of that stuff has died down at this point, but I got on there and there's a little bit of bitching going on. Jeremy Lin's like, free agency has been really hard on me. I feel like in some ways the NBA has given up on me. No. If you suck, then nobody's gonna sign you. That's just how it works. Like,
Yeah, but there's I mean, as a Asian man trying to play ball in a not so Asian league. No, listen, I'm just playing devil's advocate. Listen to what I say, jackass. As his beard turns redder if he doesn't want to. It starts to glow.
Listen, shut.
You know, Adam's got terrible superpowers as it is, giving people fucking hiccups. You know, the beard's gonna turn redder.
Let me tell you something. If we monetize,
Are you a redhead?
Hell no.
So how do you have a red beard?
Motherfucker, I don't know. I didn't make this shit happen.
How does that work?
Did I create the beard?
You got
game?
red hair up there. You got red hair down there.
Listen, all I'm saying
Is your mustache red?
no.
Your mustache isn't red. So your beard's red, but your mustache is
There's red undertones.
what is it? Brunette?
You know what I'm
Is that what you are? A brunette?
Fuck, I guess.
No. I want to
Brown?
know. How the fuck is your mustache not red?
I categorize my hair color as brown, like a normal fucking person with brown hair would. Yeah, you don't even got light bulbs and shit.
Shit.
All I'm saying is, if you look at the unsigned free
I'm
agents,
looking at it.
If you look at the unsigned free agents to this point,
I can't
Lin is not a
unsee this.
standout, right?
No.
So all the big
How old
names,
is he now, by the way? Do you know?
I have no idea.
He's probably close to, I would say, 31, because he came from Harvard. I think he played a couple of years. It's been what? Oh, when was that Linsanity? Like 2011-ish?
Something like that, roughly. when he
11,
was in
12?
Knicks.
It was a little after Derrick Rose went down.
Because
So it's been, I'd say Jeremy Lin's got to be close to 30, 29-ish.
probably, yeah. It's hard to
Honestly-
tell when you're Asian, how old you are. That's just how it is.
Racist.
I grew up with Asians, and I tell them all day that
But-
Glenn can't
Yeah.
grow a beard. He looks like he's 12 still. So.
Yeah, Glenn is never aging. Ever. But no, I think for him it's probably best. Sometimes you need to go overseas to reposition your brand, if you will, if that makes any sense. And then sometimes the recognition that comes from that brings you back.
But here's
How
the
many
problem.
times has Michael Beasley come back to the
But
league
let me
from
ask you
overseas?
Let me ask you something. When you're Asian, and then you go to the Asian league, do they care as much?
Yeah, because think about it. Those are no. I was actually. This is cool.
They're like, yo, he
No,
looks
no.
like me.
I was just having this conversation right this week because I'll get to why, but those leagues are all different now because before there was a time. Remember, we used to be like, oh, we can go play in those leagues. Nowadays, there's a lot of great basketball players that were on the cusp of NBA talent here, and they didn't make it, but now they're overseas,
Yeah,
spread
but
out.
those teams aren't made up of NBA.
I think it's more more former NBA prospects than you would think.
No, if you watch those games,
You don't think so?
It's not.
I think so. I think leagues are a lot harder than you would think nowadays.
Well, yeah, I mean,
The level of talent, the pool of talent has increased because Chinese basketball in China has become crazy, and that's where I was going to get to because a coworker of mine recommended a podcast called The Money Podcast or something along those lines, and they did an episode on the Starberries. Right now, if anybody listening doesn't remember the Starberry, it's Stephon Marbury's shoe that he made with a company that was once around called Stephen Barry's. Do you remember Stephen Barry's?
Yeah.
Stephen Barry's made unbelievably low-priced clothing from China. Like they were almost like there was no middleman. They grab it from China and they directly
It's
sell
like
it to
they give
themselves.
you the price that you're supposed to pay when you got something from China.
Right.
Not like the prices that Nike charges.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So that was the thing. Like they were talking about they came up with because Stephon's story is pretty cool because he was talking about when he was a kid. Obviously, you couldn't afford the shoes because mom, as much as his mom or moms wanted to cop them, couldn't cop them because of money reasons, right? And he
Right.
was always of the mind state that, damn, when I get the chance, if I ever can, I'm going to create a shoe that those who have low income can afford as well.
That's really cool.
So that being said, he got the opportunity to work with Stephen Barry's.
Yeah.
Now, Stephen Barry's is like this company that, like I said, they sell apparel for extremely low price. They
I
price.
will say that's a fucked up story too with them because they did have like a roadmap so that things are more affordable for people who couldn't afford it.
But they
and now they fucking closed because people are dicks.
No, well, the reason they closed is that 2008 financial bullshit.
Well, right.
Yeah, and so
But-
like the shoe was out in like 2007-ish, 2006-ish.
Yeah.
But so their model was different, but the way that I think their margins were set up, that 2008 crisis completely fucked them.
Yeah.
That being said, they were selling Stephon's shoe for I think if it wasn't $14.99, it's $15.99.
Yeah.
Right, $15. I think it was $14.99 because he wanted the shoe price at $15. Right,
Yeah.
and they sold a couple million pairs. It took a while for them to go to like be to catch on because nobody was like $15. It can't be a good shoe. So he hooped on it for a whole season. Right, and he was trying to get people to cut them in half to compare them. And when they did, they were like, they're made the same way. They're made the same exact way. It's just
And
priced
that's not all,
differently.
like,
it's all branding.
He had Starberry jerseys and shit like
Oh,
that.
he made in 2 years. I said like $7 million off of that royalties. But the problem is it didn't last because, and this is kind of a segue from the playing of it, but it kind of gets back to it, right? Because he obviously ended up leaving the NBA. Right,
Yeah.
because his time here was kind of, he said he's like I felt like it was time to move on. It was cool because in the interview in the podcast they actually talked to Stefan like recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I would say go take a look at that. I will link it below if anything. And I know I'm speaking a lot, but it's kind of a cool story in a sense because they were talking about. So he left. He went to China and became this fucking I think the team that he went to was like a perennial loser, right? And when he got there, they won like 12, 15 games in a row.
Yeah.
Right? And then they ended up winning, I think, 1, 2, 3 in a row championships or whatever.
Yeah.
Stephon Marbury's got statues out there. He's got they do plays with him starring himself. I'm telling you, he's and I think he's gone into coaching, right? He lives out there.
Yeah.
But I only say that to say beyond the idea of the sneakers, which was a pretty cool idea, like the thought of a $15 because they brought it out. Oh, one more thing, they brought it back. Right,
Yeah.
He because now he's in China, right? So the suppliers that Stephen Barry's had,
Right.
he can access, right? So now the shoe is still it's $19.99 now, right?
Inflation.
Right, but still $20 for a good sneaker, and there's a higher end, or whatever.
Right.
But I say that again to say that he went there and other players as well at the end of their career to revamp it, and it's not always over.
It's not necessarily to revamp it. It's just
That was a long story. I'm sorry.
Hey, first of all, let me say, number one, the self-awareness, right? He said, I know I was talking a lot.
No, but
then the whole ignoral of the self-awareness.
yeah, but no, I needed to finish the story.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
no, I don't think that was I think that was a good.
I think,
it was on topic. I think a little bit, and also just a cool little tidbit of like the Starberry.
To me, it's not so
thing.
much the revamping of their career so much as it's almost like a rebranding in a way, right?
Yeah,
You're
repositioning, I was
now
saying,
no
of their
longer
brand.
you're no longer sought after as an NBA player in the NBA, but you still like you said, basketball has grown to new heights in China.
China,
In
I mean,
they watch
and
NBA,
that's
right.
And,
China watch the NBA. That's why these players are huge. When
yes,
they go there.
and China's I think second to the U.S. in terms of
Their
numbers for the NBA.
CBA, Chinese Basketball Association, or
No. I
CBL
think
or whatever it is.
I think in terms of audience for the NBA or something.
Well, no, I
along
mean
those
like
lines.
their league, whatever it's called. That's their second.
Yeah. I
biggest
think
league, yeah.
their talent pool is kind of large out there as well.
So I think it's like okay,
Not large, but large.
And you told me I was getting getting offensive. But like, yeah, so I don't think like Stefan's stock was very high in the NBA anymore, and he wasn't getting contracts and
No, because I
whatever
think
it
his
was.
last contract maybe in New York. Remember, like when he got to New York and it was like a big thing, but it never really transpired to anything.
yeah, kind of like when Melo went there or whatever. But
Yeah, but that Melo was a cash grab. I think.
I think so. I think they.
No,
I mean, he
Melo
was
could have went to a no. We've had this discussion. Melo could have went to a team that was actually competing, but he wanted the money from New
But
York.
he's also from New York, and he was getting to play in his plays from Denver. Like
He could have went to Chicago. He could have went to Miami. There was
He
mad
wasn't
places,
from
dude. It was a
Chicago or
cash
Miami.
grab. It's a cash grab because
It
he
was-
wasn't looking for. We've talked about he wasn't looking for winning. He was looking for cash.
I think he was still looking for winning because you look at his time in Denver, he was an all-star every year, like crazy game, and then he still didn't have the end game, the thing that everybody wants in the league, right? So he went to New York, and yeah, it probably was partially a cash grab, but he knew he was going to get max contract anywhere he went. Like, let's be real, his stock was still at an all-time high at that point.
I don't think anybody had as much money as the Knicks that year.
As far as like big free agency signing, yeah, they probably had like the most available. But I mean, that's at the point where he signed with them. It was still a league where competition was fairly spread out among the league, and everybody had a superstar. And I think just adding like Tyson Chandler was the center at the time nothing to be fucking impressed by.
When did Amari there at that point too? Because Amari's another player. Like, see, that's another thing. Like, kind of just before I forget. Like, now you have the Ice Cube's league 3-on-3.
Yeah.
So now they have like the ability to like, because Amari had left and I think he went to live in Israel or something like that.
Yeah.
And now he's back and playing the 3-on-3.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying like.
And then we just discussed they had like workouts possible or something like that been planned. Amari and there was another player.
I don't remember the last time I saw Amari's name in the headlines anywhere, so I don't know.
Who had the workouts for the NBA team recently that hadn't been playing for some years? I think Amari.
Maybe.
I think we just spoke about this like 2 weeks ago.
Wait, wasn't it Lamar?
No, Lamar's playing for the 3-on-3. NBA player, I think for the NBA, I think Amari was looking to be was going to have some workouts. Him and some other guard, I think.
Yeah, it could be right. I don't know. All I'm saying is when they go to China, it's not necessarily about like revamping as much as their stock is higher there. They're going to get money there. Like their superstardom is crazy. Like, and that's not to say that it's not the same way for people who are still active NBA players, like Derrick Rose, for instance, right? Huge over there. China loves him. They re-released. They put some retros out for his shoe already out there.
Really?
People love him there. And that was like I think a year ago. So it was, But
I know he goes there a lot. A lot of players do that in the off season, though. A lot of players make a tour of China at least. I think
but I
once a
know
year.
for a fact that Derek was like a big standout for them out there because he went over there, did camps and like
I do remember that. I know that he does a lot, maybe more so than most players or a good amount of them.
Yeah.
At least.
So I mean, like Chinese fans, they are very aware of the NBA and like whatever. So I think it's really just their superstardom is continued through China.
You don't think it's any? I mean, I'm only asking because I don't know. But do you think that the part of it is maybe that they can showcase that they still have the athleticism, maybe the ability to still play the game? Maybe
they have the
show
ability
a showcase of sorts.
They have the ability to still be standouts there,
right?
And I mean,
which kind of goes back to how it always is when you're younger. Like you're standout in high school because most players aren't as great as you are, or have the talent that you possess.
Right.
Same in college, like Zion. They're making the thing like Zion he was a man amongst boys, and now he's going to be a man amongst men. Like it's kind of that type of thing.
Yeah.
So when you go to a place where you stand out, maybe it allows you to, the NBA player, maybe a scout for the NBA is like, oh shit, we heard old boys out there, showing out. What's up with that? Let's go check them out.
It's also just like as an NBA player who had any level of success for the most part, your avenues after your career is done they're countless, right? So you can be like, oh, I'm done with the league. Like I want to go into coaching. I want to go into executive office. I want to go
because you've seen Juwan Howard is now the coach at Michigan.
Yeah. Or you could take
that's pretty cool
you
shit.
could take the Paul
especially
Pierce
with
route.
What happened with them at the Fat Five.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You could take the Paul Pierce route and go into commentary,
and nobody seems to like you.
Right, but it makes for an entertaining show, right?
It does, and I think that they understand that as well.
Yeah, and so you can go there, you can go to some other league and keep playing if you're not done yet, but you just don't have the NBA competition.
You're right. Especially this day and age, because the way the world has opened up, globalization, social media, you're always present, right? Even when you leave. Like I had this conversation with my coworker, older coworker, the other day about like Facebook is kind of taking away the problem or the idea that once somebody's out their life, you're out your life, they're out your life. Like when you leave school, all the people you went to school with, you still know what's going on with them, right? So it takes away the reunion aspect of things, right?
Right, and that's funny you say that because my 10-year reunion, I think, was last year, let's say.
And you didn't go, right?
I didn't go, and it's funny because they had like a fucking like a Facebook page about it, and everybody's talking. Literally, like 5 people showed up. So I was like...
See, and because everybody, you already know what people are doing.
Right.
And that's a completely separate from what we were talking about, right?
You used to be like, I want to see how ugly this bitch who turned me down back in the day got, like.
Right. Now you can see it every day. Be like, oh, progressively, you've gotten worse, bitch.
You went from bad to real bad. 2 kids who don't even know they real dad.
No. What would you do?
I think that's a different story. But
I don't know the bedroom floor because he's hungry. Bitch, you better go get a job. So I only brought that up because that conversation can go to a whole nother level, and I don't know if we're in a serious topic conversation today or we're not. So I just wanted to finish it up with saying that, like, now you can get now when you retire, right? For instance, I played basketball and I retired yesterday, right? I'm done. If this was the 90s, early 2000s even, you basically you lose
play
track
golf.
of me. You lose track of me, right? I'm not an NBA player anymore. You don't even know who I am, right? I kind of go on to my own life. That's why people are shocked when they find out a lot of these NBA players have lost their fortunes. You don't really know what they're doing. Now, if I retire, if they find that I had a personality enough, if my acumen for basketball was wherever it was, if my IQ was this, if I am marketable in whatever aspect, if my career was, if I was a great player on off the court or just off the court and serviceable, right? They'll take me in.
Or
There's
even-
some players right now that are or former players that are commentary analysts that I'm just like, yo, you're terrible.
Even if you go back to the 90s, right? Your exposure is different. So NBA games come on, local television, Channel 7 or some shit. All the way in China, they're not watching you. They may know about the game or whatever, but now,
Globalization.
Now they can see you. They
Globalization,
go
bro.
online if they have to
Yeah.
and watch you. And now they're big fans,
Right, and you can
now-
see the skill that they've possessed. Goddamn, possess. You can see the skills that they possess have increased drastically over the years based on their exposure to what they can see about how the game is played here.
Well, yeah, and that's what that opens up your market
Yeah.
for your fans. Right now, you have a whole big fucking fan base in China, and everybody was dying to come see you play. And now you're retired from the league, and you got somebody from one of the agents in the China league calling, "Hey, you come out here and play for like 3 years, sign a contract with us. We'll give you $100 million." They're probably making way more money in China.
I know they're making a lot. I don't know that those contracts are ever that long. I don't know if they ever signed 3-year contracts.
I don't really know
Because I think that's not advantageous to the player from here, right? So I think they're always not really willing to sign those super long contracts because under the maybe the rarest of occasion where you might go back and be offered something dope there. Can you break a 3-year contract if you're done after the first year there?
Well,
so I
it
think a lot of
depends,
them are. A lot of them they might tend to be yearly contracts from what I gather.
I'd say it depends too. Like, let's say you have and I don't know what he's doing right now, but let's say Brandon Roy, right? Young guy, great talent, got injured, fucked up his career in NBA. But however, the pace is a little bit different in China. Your stock is still up,
And he's
there.
not playing there, right?
I have no idea.
I
Honestly.
think Brandon Roy's done. Like I think his knees were cooked.
Yeah, but they might be like, hey, your stock is still up here, and while you may not have the same NBA legs, it's not as much about your ability to play as it is the people here want to see you come play.
That's a good and that's the thing too, right? I mean, I guess it all depends on your reasons for going out there to play. Do you really intend to come back to the league? If that's the best route, can you do it? It all depends, and that's something we can't speak on because we've never had that ability.
Although I do know, let's say you go unsigned in the draft, right, and you end up going to play overseas. A lot of those players don't end up back in the league most of the time. If you go unsigned and you end up in the G League, then that's how you.
Yeah. You got to go developmental. Otherwise, you're not going to make
usually
it.
it's the other way around. Once you're at the end of your career in the NBA, then you make your transition overseas.
It's because you've made a name already, right? Like you said, so now your name goes there, but your name can also kind of echo if something big's happening for you out there back to the league, and maybe that might find you, give you a route back eventually, which I think is important.
And you look at how the '92 Dream Team changed a lot of that landscape, right? Because now
they did it in it was crazy.
The reason why basketball is as global as it is now is because of that team specifically. Now everybody from around the world got to watch you in the Olympics. They saw how dominant the game was. They saw how much fun it is to watch. And now they started this league here and this league here and this league here, and then these leagues started to grow. And it's funny
Just
how
planted seeds. That's all. It was. MJ, I think, was a big portion of that early on, because his ad campaign was very. I don't know how global, but globally at least I know. And then obviously '92 comes and it. You see the greatest talent pool of NBA players we have, and to this day undefeatable in my eyes. Right.
Yeah.
So I think you have something to be said there as well. It's just I think this was a pretty cool conversation. I kind of forget where it all started, honestly, but Jeremy Lin, right? Also, man, Jeremy Lin, if he has to go play overseas, he'll in China he'll be valued high, right?
I think when it comes to Jeremy, you're right. You're probably right about that because he's a nationalist, so it's probably big to have somebody who's been in the NBA and they have a big name even in the States now. And they're probably happy one of our own is out here doing their thing. But when it comes to him specifically, I think he's being a little bit of a bitch. And I only say that because this year you had all kinds of crazy free agents going on, right? Moving parts all over the fucking league. The landscape of the league is completely different now than it was last year already. A lot of those names who would, and any other offseason, they're getting like big notoriety. You're getting lost in the shuffle right now. It's gonna happen because
was he on Toronto just now? Who did he leave last? I thought he was with Toronto. Didn't he just win?
Was he with Toronto?
I thought because Jeremy Lin's been through a lot. I know he tore his ACL a season or so ago.
Well, he's been all over the place. He was on the
New
Knicks,
York.
He was on the Rockets. He was on fucking Minnesota.
He's a journeyman, right? That's what he is in terms of the league.
And I could be wrong, but maybe he was on Milwaukee.
It's a possibility. I mean, he's played a lot, but I mean, listen. You know what, man? Sometimes some people's careers are longer. Some people are undervalued earlier on. Like, listen, I think Melo's done in the league. I think Melo goes and plays overseas if he plays again, and that's it. I don't think Melo
got bigger fish to fry right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Melo keep popping up about some other bitches being around him, and this girl is not happy about it.
Nope. Lalo's kind of hot too, man.
And he's always like, listen, you need to stop making these stories. They're bullshit. You're ruining my life. And I'm like, Melo, stop being caught.
Like, Melo, you need to stop.
You don't have NBA money to depend on next season. Like, if she takes your money, she's taking it.
Oh man. So, off that topic, I'd like to speak about wild animals attacking humans in the wild.
I know where this is going.
Yo, those parents are terrible.
Those bison, whatever.
But old girl should have ran a little bit herself.
No.
Yo, she just stood there and watched it happen.
Have you ever seen Austin Powers? He's driving a steamroller, and he's a good 30 feet from the guy, and he's literally going 0.1 mile an hour. And the guy's like, ah! And he's like, move! And the guy didn't move, and he got crushed by a steamroller. That's kind of what happened to that little girl.
You hit that guy.
Should have been standing
there. Hey, you lousy kid! Oh, man. Happy Gilmore's so fucking great.
That was a great movie. But yeah, no, that girl, I don't know what.
365 days before next year's hockey practice. Got to get tougher. Oh, that one hurt a little bit, but I'll be all right. And then that fucking kid went in there right after and just got knocked the fuck out by the ball.
Yeah,
oh, man.
I should have known better.
Remember the alligator that got your eye or your hand? I got his eye.
He had his head.
Oh, he got his head, right? I got his head. He's like, I got his eye. I got that before it. But I didn't get out of there before I got his eye. He's like,
So don't worry about me, Happy. I got my hand back, see?
Check out this twinkle. Anyway, no, that's a good fucking movie, man. Little tangent.
As far as the NBA goes, I think that's...
Remember that Mr. Lady? I think I killed her. Get me out of here!
So here, take some fries. As you can see, we're Adam Sandler fans for the last... like, I don't know how many episodes we've been talking about.
Super Adam Sandler fans. Like, I can go into a whole... We could probably recite a lot of these movies, but I'm not going to do that to you yet.
No, not right now.
There may be an episode where we recite all lines next.
Platform.
Nudie Magazine Day. Nudie Magazine Day.
It looks like we're right about the hour mark right now. So since that's the case, let's get into the new music shit. Have you listened to any of the Big Sean singles that he put out this week?
No.
Me neither. Next up.
No, and that's not to say that not a slight to Big Sean in any way. I think he can.
I think he has a song with Jenny Aiko, one of them, and
it's called something about I'm single, and it's with his ex, which is pretty dope.
I was like, wasn't he fucking?
Yo, they were together for mad long. Yeah. Janae Aiko can get it, man. She got that like whole like flower girl type of thing going. Hopefully, she shaves them armpits, and we be good. Yo, that's mad nasty, yo. You ever just like, I don't know, shave your armpits, do it.
Yeah, word.
But yeah, no slight to him. I think he can rap. I'm not necessarily. I'm not a big fan of his, but I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean. I fuck with for sure.
But no, I haven't heard any of his new shit. Next,
YBN Corday.
No, Next.
The only reason why I bring that up is because Rory from the Joe Budden podcast, Mick, as it were.
What's his last name?
I don't know, but
He always.
Mick apparently is a
That's a slur. You
is a
didn't know
slur. Why the fuck would it be a slur? Mad people put Mick in front of their name that don't actually have that Mick.
that? Well, I mean, I think a lot of our Irish names come with the MC in front of it.
They do,
Dave's not Irish.
but his cousins are.
What does that got to do with? No, I don't think so.
I don't know.
This is you think
If
we
you
know
know Dave,
this.
ask him for us.
Yeah, because we haven't seen him in a couple weeks.
But yeah,
Have you seen this man?
he said that this YBN Corday album was good. I didn't listen to it.
So why'd you bring it up?
Just thought maybe you did.
No.
You know,
Next.
all these YBNs, YFNs.
I don't know who they are.
Who
Okay,
the fuck are those people?
I don't know who they are.
And then the other one is Chance put out an
Oh
album.
hell no. Next.
There's only one line that I saw from it.
I am not a Chance the Rapper
But he said
fan.
something along the
As
lines
a
of-
rapper.
he said something along the lines of, "I made the number 3 more famous than Steph."
Yeah, probably so, but not really. I think the first 3-peat of the Bulls did that. Secondly, listen,
I
I
think
just
3
saw
has been
some.
popular all the
Wasn't his last album his debut album?
No. Coloring Book, right? That was his first one.
No, all I did was see that it says his debut album is this now.
I will say this.
What
put
is
out
that?
He put out that single Groceries. I actually like that song.
I didn't hear it.
All I know is I identify with it, right? Because as somebody who
Who
took a long
goes grocery
time-
shopping?
Well, somebody who had took a long time to get a car, right? And worked at a grocery store. He said, "I used to take the groceries all in one trip." Like, yeah, I used to try to do that too because I didn't have
Everybody does who has a car or not a car.
no.
And if it-
Because
okay, so
I
listen.
had to bring it from
First of
Dominic's
all,
on
if-
foot.
yes,
for half an
yeah,
hour
I get
to the
it.
house.
You got to do that in one trip. You're forced.
All
Or
I'm
you got to do
saying
more
is,
trips. You got to walk
That's one
back?
thing that I identify with. It's on a real level.
We've
you know what I
both
mean?
done this.
When he said he took the groceries all in one trip,
We've both
felt
done
that.
it. We've both had to do this. I've ridden bikes with groceries. I've ridden the groceries.
hey, if you've ever seen somebody riding down the street on a bicycle with grocery bags in their hand,
It's
man,
the struggle, man. Fuck y'all. Y'all ain't had to ride a bike with groceries. I don't want to know you, goddammit.
yeah,
Anyway,
you didn't pay your dues.
you know what I mean? Like, shit happens. You got to take care of your business, man. I still need bread and cheese,
Still
bitch.
gotta eat. Listen. There were times that I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go to Family Dollar, buy a loaf of bread, some Kraft singles."
By the way, Family Dollar was gross misadvertisement. Listen, there's no way, and everything was over $1.
Well, yeah. The only company like
Family
that I respect-
Dollar is a fucked up
The only
store.
company like that I respect is Dollar Tree because everything's a dollar.
Yeah, but it's all worth less than $1.
necessarily.
Plates be like
They got-
made out of clay that
they got
disintegrates
popular-
after 2
They
washes.
got popular store brands in a lot of those things.
What do they have?
All types of shit.
They ain't got nothing.
They got like actual Brillo pads. They got Ajax. You know what I'm saying?
You're bringing up the cheapest things in the grocery stores.
Cleaning supplies. Listen,
Cleaning supplies, yes, but
I'm not trying to pay top shelf fucking money for a damn.
listen, if I come
mop
to your house and you ain't
shit.
got Bounty as paper towels, I'm leaving.
That's your standard. If you don't have Bounty, I'm leaving.
Well, I mean, you got to have other
You're just
things.
visiting and you
I'm
don't
just
have
assuming
Bounty?
if you don't have Bounty, then you don't know what a good cleaning product is.
I will stay because I support the struggle.
I
know
support
what
the
it's like
struggle,
to not
but the
have
struggle
Bounty
is not. No, listen.
Sometimes I still
the
don't have
dollar
Bounty
you
money.
spend on Bounty more gives you more of a product than you do on some whack. Listen, we had the conversation of 1-ply, 2-ply, 3-ply toilet paper this week.
Listen to me, okay? One roll of Bounty is not $1.
I know, but it's way better if you spend $1 more to get that roll of Bounty for that. In terms of
Nobody's arguing that it's better. I'm just saying.
you get more out of it.
I know what it's like to be. A
If you buy the
broke
dollar,
motherfucker.
if you buy the $1 roll of paper towels, you're gonna be done with them in a day. It takes 14 of them to clean up water.
Don't spill no damn water. Use it to you know,
Spills happen out of accident,
especially when you're
and
clumsy
if
as
I
fuck,
need them,
you
huh?
know? Especially when you're clumsy as fuck, it just happens.
Look, man. All I'm
Anyways, I'm done.
I'm done with you guys.
Episode 52 has been a joy. I hope you enjoyed it. Like we
Yeah,
did.
I know it was a little bit. We had some serious topics, but that was a conversation we have a lot, just to kind of give you guys some insight into what our thoughts are.
I mean, listen. You know, I always want to keep it like lighthearted, but we do have a podcast, and to some degree, we just got some important shit to talk about from time to time.
Yeah, and there's enough of us, and when I say us, like the smaller guys out there, and I don't know if you guys are listening or not, but that it's worth the conversation to be had, just so you know that you're not alone, and if you're out there with quantity over quality, you are alone. You probably hit mad nasty chicks. So you know what I mean, like
The ones that don't shave their armpits.
right. You probably got them flower girls that probably don't smell like flowers.
Listen, you know what? All I have to say to the feminist community who tells me, well, why do I have to shave my armpits? It's not my fault that you've been doing it for the last 100 years, and now you want to stop all of a sudden?
No,
You
no.
can't get
I
me used to
listen.
certain things.
It's undebatable. There is a smell that comes from underneath there.
Right.
It just is, and I don't know.
Plus,
I don't know. But beyond that, I
as
was
life
just
goes, men are hairier than women, and I just don't want you to have.
yeah. Listen, but that was
Still love y'all.
Still, quality. It's always quality over quantity, and like I said, the reverse means that you've hit questionable ones, to say the least.
Probably.
But you ain't alone if you're looking for that quality, son. We here. We're trying to get this shit going.
Right,
you
right,
know,
right.
and just again, stay ready. And every week we're gonna try to bring the real shit, the funny, the quality.
Shout out to Maisha for always
Our
being the
quantity
one
is going
who
down.
comments.
Actually, we
What?
had 3. Now we have 2.
Oh yeah, certain counts of things have gone down.
Yes.
I want to shout out Maisha for always being the one to comment.
Right,
All
right.
you
We
other people who
appreciate
don't
you.
Comment, like, what the fuck's wrong with y'all? Let us know what you want to hear from us,
Maisha.
You know, Maisha. Anybody,
Thanks again, Maisha.
Anybody who has some insight and wants to hear some of our insight about such things, go ahead and comment. Let us know how you feel.
Right, you can reach Adam on Twitter, right?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
on
yeah.
there, but I don't really do too much on there. I mean, I just
Well, I'm on
really-
there, and then
I'll be the
page.
lurker. I'm like the lurker follower where I
There's,
just
of course-
watch.
There's of course a Kiona and Kasson podcast page on Twitter.
Right, so it's
run.
Kiona and Kasson podcast on Twitter, Instagram.
everything that it's always been. You
Right,
know,
right.
This ain't new.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
y'all
Well,
know
I don't think we've given our social medias in a while, so I
Right,
think it
true.
might help.
That's true. So, check us out also on Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes,
Right,
Google
all
Podcasts,
Kiona and
iHeartRadio.
Kasson podcast.
We be every motherfucking where. Everywhere where podcasts are available.
We everywhere. You ain't never there.
Opposite shout out to Glenn.
But for some reason, we care.
I was a shout out to Glenn, shout out to Dave, and all everything going on with him.
Indeed.
We'll
Dave.
for sure, of course, keep y'all posted with everything like that. Otherwise, man, it's been a good year so far.
52 straight.
52?
52 strong,
Well, not
bitches.
52 straight. We did take a couple episodes,
So I said I stopped. I said 52 strong.
but you said straight first.
Remember 52 pickup? That was a fucked up game.
It's a stupid fucking game.
Want to play 52 pickup?
If anybody ever asked me that, I'm
But like
poking
now
your fucking
nobody's got
eyeballs.
cards because I'm walking the fuck away from this situation.
Poking you right in the eyes,
We could have
first
played
of all.
spades, but instead you want to either fight or walk away.
Seen
Like-
fucking Bobby Boucher. He's like, "Bah!" Hit you right in the fucking eyes.
I would have to say Captain Insano, but recently he was kind of mean to me.
Said a hit, hot, hit, hit,
How old are you, kid? I'm 32. He's like,
Anyway, thanks for tuning in, everybody.
More Waterboy, Adam
subscribe,
Sandler.
like, share with your friends. Let them know that this podcast is worth watching. And if you don't feel that way, just pretend that you do. And we'll catch y'all on 53.
please do that. We love y'all. Peace.
Holla.